Hello everyone. Today we will start concept 3. It's about the changes in the food web. First, let me ask a question. What do you think if we changed anything in the ecosystem? Would the food web change it also? Yeah, of course. When we change anything in the ecosystem, the food web and the food chain will changes too. That the organism may be affected at that ecosystem. So supposedly we wake up one day and see that and see in an ecosystem the producers or the plants will disappear. So what will happen to the consumers? So consumers, like the primary consumer, gets its food from the producers. So of course they will die. Or else they have another choice to go and move to another places so it can search for food. If the numbers of consumers in the ecosystem increases, so the consumers numbers increases means increasing in the consuming of the materials or of the supplies in the ecosystem, of course the food and the shelter also will disappear and so they will die. So any changes happens to the ecosystem, also the food chain or the food web will be affected. We have two human activities that affect the marine habitats. So to talk about the marine habitats, marines means the ecosystem in oceans and rivers and sea and so on. Human can affect the marine habitats by two ways: overfishing and water pollution. So first, what's meant by overfishing? Moderate fishing, it's okay to go to a river or something and make a moderate fishing. But the overfishing, when the human fishes or catch many fishes from the rivers or sea, this is called overfishing. And that of course will affect all of the ecosystem in that river or on that marine habitat. What about the water pollution? Water pollution, when the human throw waste materials on rivers, seas and oceans, this causes the fishes to die and will affect all of the organisms in that ecosystem. So two main activities that affect the marine habitats: overfishing and water pollution. Palau Islands makes some protections in order to protect their inhabited environment. So people uses different conservation programs to protect the marine environment. How? By creating a well-designed protected marine environment program. They made a program so they can keep or control the human activities on the land to keep the marine habitat protected. So they protect how, or they controlled how the human or how people can make activities on that island. They also made a program about the fishermen must not overfishing the coral reef to conserve the marine environment. So no one is allowed to throw the wastes in their marine habitats, and also no one is allowed to overfish there. That's why they kept or they protect their marine habitats. And by the way, tourists from all over the world comes to Palau to see how the marine life there is amazing and beautiful. What happens when an ecosystem changes? Food web changes too, where the relationship between organisms play an important role in keeping the ecosystem balanced. So the relationship is balanced means it's in equality, not in the same number, but in the same ratio. So when the ecosystem changes, the food web changes too. When organisms are removed or their role in the ecosystem changes, the ecosystem could be destroyed. What happens when there is a gentle rain in the desert? Rain, but gentle. I mean, a little bit rain. Okay, the desert ecosystem may be improved. So why? Because the rainwater will feed the plants, which will feed the organisms. What happens when there is a heavy rain in the desert? So now it's a heavy rain, a lot of rain, heavy rains that will maybe causing flood, which will destroy, of course, the ecosystem, and the desert ecosystem may be harmed. So the organisms in the desert will not live or will die. Third, what happens when there is a drought and all of the grasses dies? What happened? The food web in this ecosystem may be destroyed. Why? Because the plants will die, of course, and so the organisms will die too. What happens when there are many top predators in the food web? So the top predators like lions, like sharks, when there is a top predators in the food web, what will happen to that or ecosystem? The other organisms in food web may be harmed or will die, all of them. Why? Because the top predators will eat all of the organisms. Okay? So let's make a definition for top predators. They are predators that exists at the top of the food chain, such as tigers, lions, sharks, crocodiles, jaguars, and whatsoever, and so on. So the predators are the powerful animals. Okay, they are at the top of the food chain, at the top of the model. Okay, the food web is a model shows different feeding relationships among the living organisms. Can you see this picture? We have algae, zooplankton, clam, sea star, coral, sea urchin, parrotfish, tigerfish, butterfly fish, and shark. Can you see this picture? Now first we start with the producer. Producer, we've said that the organisms that can make its own food. Here the producer is the algae. Clam can eat or can feed on the algae. Zooplankton also can feed on algae. Sea urchin also can feed on the algae. So they are considered to be the primary consumers. Sea star can feed on clam, and coral can feed on zooplankton, while the parrotfish can eat or can feed on the sea urchin. Okay, as you can see here in the picture. Tigerfish can eat the coral, and butterfly fish also can feed from the coral reef. But the shark, which is a top predator, can feed on parrot and tiger and butterfly. So the algae is a kind of producer that can produce its own food. And as we said, the zooplankton, clam, and sea urchin feeds on algae. These three will feed on algae. The sea star feed on clam, and the coral reef will feed on zooplankton. Butterfly fish and tigerfish feeds on coral. Parrotfish feeds on coral and sea urchin. What about the shark, which is a top predator? Feeds on the sea star and the three different fishes there. So that's why it's called top predator, because it's at the top of the model. And that's it for today. Bye bye.